Okay, hello everybody, this is Anna Laura Brown of AnnaLauraBrown.com, and in this video I'm going to talk with you about how to use essential oils on a budget. So one of the questions I get and things that comes up sometimes with people is that they think that in order to use essential oils they have to have a lot of money, or that it can be really expensive to use essential oils. So I'm going to talk with you a little bit about that, some of the myths and facts about that, as well as give you some tips and tricks about how to use essential oils on a budget. So the first thing that people sometimes come up with is that they think they have to start off buying a lot of essential oils or a really big kit. And that's really not true. You actually can start off with just a couple of essential oils. And that said, in order to really get the oils that you're going to want for your collection and to have higher quality oils, I might add that by saying how to use essential oils on a budget, I am not talking about how to go buy cheap $3 or $4 bottles of essential oils at Walmart or on Amazon that claim to be 100% natural and they aren't. Because the reality is, we could get into that in detail, that's a whole nother issue, but a lot of essential oils still contain partially synthetics, or the way that they're manufactured, they just truly aren't a true therapeutic, medical grade, high quality essential oil. So when I say on a budget, I'm not talking about going and buying cheap synthetic oils that, you know, you're really not going to get the results from that you had hoped from. So let's get that out of the way. I am talking about using higher quality, therapeutic, medicinal grade essential oils. For me, doTERRA is the brand I've chosen to use. There are other brands out there that are high quality as well. You could be using one of those. But the gist of it is, in order to use them on a budget, no, you do not need tons of money. And you don't have to start out with every oil there is. However, you do need to plan on budgeting for probably at least about $100 in order to get a lot of the basics to get started with, and then, you know, you can add to your collection from there. The other thing that people sometimes reason people sometimes think that essential oils you can't do them on a budget is because they are not aware of how long one bottle is going to last them, which is usually a really long time. I have to add that for me personally, so for example, one of the essential oils that I use quite a bit of, and I'm going to try to grab one out of here, it's stuck in my container thing, is this doTERRA blend of Digest Zen. Well, the wholesale price of this is about $31 for one bottle. This, despite the fact that I use this just about every single day, I will still only go through about one bottle in about 3 months. So this is not something, you know, I don't just consume this like crazy all the time, and I am not going to be going through a bottle every single month or even every 2 months. Like I say, about 3 months. And most of the other oils, like if I don't use it every day, there are oils I buy one bottle and it lasts me a whole year or a whole year and a half even. But I would say the ones that I use on a regular basis, I typically go through one bottle in about, depending on how much I use, a minimum of at least 2 months, and sometimes even up to 4 or 5 months for the ones I use on a regular basis. So I am not using a ton, and I'm not having to replace them every single month all the time. The other thing too is that there are some essential oils that are really expensive, say like helichrysum, rose, jasmine, neroli, some of the blue tansy, some of those. And so people hear about the price tag of some of the really expensive essential oils and then they freak out. And you know, I did too at first when I heard about them, and the reality is that I really don't use the really expensive ones on a regular basis very often. And for most people, the less expensive essential oils will be good enough most of the time. I do have to say that rose is actually, and neroli are both really powerful essential oils, which you can, you know, benefit from those in ways that you can't necessarily benefit from the other less expensive oils. However, what I really like that doTERRA has done is they've come out with, so for example, this is the Neuro, and you can see here, and this is one tip on how to use essential oils on a budget. They have put it into fractionated coconut oil, so there's only, you know, just a few drops, probably maybe, we don't know exactly because it's a proprietary blend, but probably maybe, you know, no more than 20 or 30 drops, and the rest is coconut oil, and that makes it so that this blend becomes a lot more affordable than if they were to try to sell us a whole big bottle like this of a really expensive oil. You would really gasp at the price tag. It would be really expensive. So that is one tip for you on how to use essential oils on a budget, is that you can either buy, in some cases, like even less expensive ones, doTERRA has them available in coconut oil in a roller, and that can make the oil last a lot longer and can make it more on a budget, more budget friendly. The other way, you can also make your own recipes and do your own roller bottle. So the place I like to get roller bottles from is primarily either from oillife.com or aromatools.com, but you know, you can sometimes even get the rollers on Amazon. There's tons of places you can get roller bottles from. And basically what you do is put anywhere from 10, maybe up to 30 drops of oils, and you can do your own blends this way, and then fill the rest with some kind of a carrier oil. So for example, this doTERRA fractionated coconut oil, I also have from another company, this almond oil. You could also use olive oil or jojoba oil or other carriers. They're really inexpensive, and then this entire roller will last you a really long time. So for example, like this peppermint roller that I have from doTERRA has lasted me longer than even just a regular bottle of peppermint. Like, I think I've been using this, and I use peppermint just about every day. Probably I've had this 4, 5, maybe even 6 months. So the reality is that most of us, unless you have a really chronic condition or something, you can probably use most of the popular essential oils daily or almost daily of a really high quality grade for less than about $50 a month, or even less than that. Like maybe for one person, maybe $30 a month or so on average. So yes, you will have to spend about $100 or so in the beginning to get started. But then, you know, only about 30, 40, maybe the most $50 a month to continue adding to your collection and replacing the ones when you do run out. So, you know, it really isn't that expensive, especially compared to how much a lot of us spend on over-the-counter drugs and things like that. And you can also use all your essential oils for your cleaning supplies. You can use them for perfume. You can use them for even your own deodorant. So, you know, that's another budget-friendly way, is to think about essential oils as all the different things that you can replace them with and that you won't have to buy once you start using essential oils. So that's another tip that I would give you. And then the other thing you also can do that will make them last a really long time is you can do things like make your own hand sanitizer, where you put just water and like 5 or 10 drops and get the benefit of helping to remove the germs from your hands and helping improve your immune system. And then you also can put, you know, about 10 or 20 drops in a bottle and do things like this. Like, this is a mattress freshener and cleanser. So you can put, you know, drops into things that will make your own skincare products, all that kind of stuff. And so really the biggest key to getting essential oils to last a long time and to doing it on a budget is, number one, to think about which ones you really want to use and which are the top oils that you really need personally, and don't feel like you have to buy them all. Personally, I realize in some ways this was kind of a mistake that I made, because the fact that I am a business builder and, you know, am making an income with essential oils, I thought in the beginning that I had to have all of the oils that doTERRA carries. And, you know, I did buy them all, and I have some that honestly have sat in my box for a couple of years because they're just not ones that I really use very much, and they're not ones that my body really needs. So, you know, I would say, even as a business builder, there still are probably going to be some that maybe you don't really even need to get right away, and maybe over the long term, maybe you should buy them once just to try them out, which is basically what I did. And, you know, there are some, if I do eventually run out, I'm probably, quite frankly, not going to replace them because they're just not ones that I feel like I really need. Then the other secret, too, like I said, is using proper dilution and not, you know, just dumping the oil on the bottoms of your feet or whatever, and making sure that you realize that a little bit goes a long way. And yes, you can use too much of a good thing. And then last but not least, diffusing. So this is my doTERRA pedal diffuser. I just put water and then a few drops in it. Can really help the oil go a long way and spread it throughout your house. You can breathe it in from the diffuser as well, and that can make things last a long time and make it so that you don't have to keep reapplying lots of oils and that kind of thing. So anyhow, I hope you found this video helpful on how to use essential oils on a budget. If you have any questions or would like more information about becoming a wholesale member with doTERRA or anything else, please feel free to leave the questions below, and I look forward to talking with you later.